Hello, and today I'm going to show you an exercise to develop our hamstrings and to develop our glutes and all around our hips and to balance everything out, as well as our spine and our core, so that we can lunge better. So this exercise is all about developing the backside of our legs and our hips so that we can lunge better, as well as this will also improve your walking and your running and or your sprinting. So highly important exercise to master. So let's get to it. Alright, so I'm laying here on the back on the floor. I've got my legs up on top of a Swiss ball, so basically to where my feet are pretty close to the top of the ball and my calves are resting on the side of the ball. Make sure you have some traction underneath the ball, so being on a yoga mat is really important. Okay? And then also make sure that you've mastered the previous exercises in this playlist. So to develop yourself up to this point. So especially the beginning part of this exercise. Okay, it's very important that you go through the mastery of each exercise and get really good at it. So we want to make sure that we have belly button in and that we keep our spine relatively straight in this position, and we don't end up arching our back, or we don't end up flexing our back, and our back pretty much stays in that same position at all times. So the arms are going to be down on the floor with the palms up towards the ceiling so that you have a good base of support. We want to keep our feet nice and perpendicular to each other and not let them flop out to the sides. Okay? And then as we go through this, we're going to push our legs in to the ball and elevate those hips all the way up. And so once again, this is why we want to have belly button in, be pulling up with our low abs, be pushing up with our glutes, keeping those feet parallel so that all three heads of the hamstrings are working as we are doing this exercise. Okay, so that's the first part of it. So the first part is pushing those hips all the way up. This is one of the previous exercises to develop all of this. But then we want to bend at the knee and continue to elevate our hips so that we're straight from the knee all the way down to our shoulder. And then straightening back out and then lowering all the way back down to the floor. So there's 4 movements. Pushing your legs into the ball, elevating the hips all the way up is 1. Bending at the knee, curling that ball in underneath you, but continuing to lift the hips up. Then 3 is straightening the legs back out, but keeping those hips up high. And then 4 is lowering the hips back down to the floor. Because walking and running is hip extension followed by knee flexion. And so this is why we want to develop this, because it helps in walking, running, and sprinting. So, once again, make sure you're keeping your spine nice and straight. Lift those hips all the way up there. Curl all the way underneath. You're going to feel those hamstrings working, maybe the calves too. Then straighten out and then lower all the way back down to the floor. Now, you might see people do this in the gym, and they'll come up here, and then when they bend their legs, their hips are way down here. They're not straight from the knee to the shoulder. That's wrong. That's not the way you want to do it. And if you're not strong enough to do it that way, you can do it this way. You can lift up, curl in, then lift your hips up, and then keep your hips up there as you straighten out, and then lower back down so that you develop the strength that way. So there are multiple ways of doing this. And eventually you'll be able to go with lifting up there, curling up, straightening back out, and then lowering back down. Now, if you want to create more balance in the body, one side to the other and everything else, this is where you make a smaller base of support, so you can bend your arms to where just your elbows and your upper arms are touching the floor rather than your whole arms, and then your base of support is smaller, and then you have to work a little bit harder. Or you go arms up across the chest and do the same thing, and now everything's going to have to work a little bit harder. Or you can actually lift those arms all the way up towards the ceiling so that you get those shoulder blades up off of the floor. Let's see how I do. Haven't done this in a little while. Oh, yeah, a little wobbly. And all the way up there, and all the way back out, and all the way back down. And you'll see that I couldn't quite go quite as high as I could with my arms down on the floor, simply because the balance is challenged a little bit more, and I'm not doing these in my exercise program right now. I have other exercises to do. So, you can progress through all of those, all right? So that is our supine hip extension and knee flexion exercise. On the ball, practice it, get really good at it, develop those hamstrings, develop the glutes, develop the whole hip complex. It's all going to help you to lunge, walk, and run better. Make sure to check out all of the videos in the playlist, okay? I'm Michael Finn. I'm a holistic exercise and lifestyle coach. I've been doing this for over 20 years, teaching people and developing people so that they can lunge correctly and get up off the floor and do all of the other activities that they want to do in life, okay? So that's what I want to help you with as well. So please subscribe and like the channel, because that helps me stay motivated to continue making more videos for all of you, okay? Hope you have a wonderful, happy, and healthy day, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.